Welcome back to the Graham Stephan Show. So student loans are getting absolutely out of control. It is ridiculous how much debt some of the students are graduating with, often with no promise of even getting a job to be able to pay the money back. It's so silly, but this really goes to show you just how devastating it could be. Caleb Hammer posted this video and it's titled, "Wife Brought $100,000 of private student loans into marriage." And with that, I want to comment on it as soon as you hit the like button and subscribe. I'm also going to be linking Caleb's original video down below in the description for those of you who want to support his channel. And now with that said, let's begin here.
Hi, my name is Brandon and I'm 29 years old.
My name is Lucy. I am 30 years old and we're based out of Ellicott City, Maryland.
And this is Financial Audit.
So she basically just took out a mortgage to get an education. To justify $100,000 of student loans, I would say you'd want to get that paid off in a few years. So you'd want a salary around, I don't know, $120,000, $150,000 a year to be able to afford that, just for that to make financial sense. Because what I'm seeing right now, people are taking out $100,000 of student loans to get a job that pays $50,000 a year. The math just doesn't work. It's like trying to say 2 + 2 = 5. It doesn't compute. In what world does that seem like a good financial decision to take out so much debt to make that amount? It doesn't make sense. The math ain't math in here, and that's the problem.
What do you do for a living right now?
I am a high school art teacher.
Ooh, the arts. I studied music in college for a little
nice.
bit.
That's the problem. Okay, high school art teacher. Where did the $100,000 go? She got scammed. Someone took advantage of her. Someone heard her say, "Oh, I want to spend $100,000 to teach art in high." How? Why? It doesn't make sense. People should really think this through before they're going to spend $100,000.
What do you make?
I believe it's going up to 800 something.
Well, I tell you. What I tell you, $100,000 to make $50,000, less than $50,000. That $44,000 after tax could be more like $35,000. Why? That doesn't compute. I don't get how anybody told her that's a good idea. It's sad she doesn't have anyone in her life, like a person like me behind a computer screen to just tell her no. No, you don't do that. You take out student loans like that. I think if you're going to a really good school to be a doctor, lawyer, top 3, MBA schools, because, your job requires an MBA or like whatever it is, you have to really make sure that's worth it.
I've been working with my father in an in-home model train e-commerce business. And then about 3 years ago, this kid that came along with us, his name is Ross. He just kind of melded with us. He worked with us a couple days a week. And then once COVID hit, then I started working with his parents to say, hey, I can still bring him 5 days a week over to the shop so he can lead a fulfilling life and he can enjoy himself doing what he does with us.
So who's paying you?
So
this person's parents?
I get paid through the business from a state-funded program.
That's interesting. So to wrap my mind around this, he was working with this person for a while. COVID happened. This dude wasn't able to get to his work. There's a state-funded program that pays him to drive. $28 an hour to do that is not bad. It's pretty decent work, especially if it's state funded. That's pretty much guaranteed.
I'm helping him kind of push him a little bit to be a bit of a better person because he likes to be lazy. He'd rather fall asleep if he wants to, but he loves trains. He loves working with us. We've developed a really great friendship in a relationship with his parents, and it's just been a really nice thing for the last few years.
I used to be obsessed with trains as a kid. I think every kid had like the little model trains. I used to go nuts with those. I'd take the entire dining room table, do like a little model train set across it. I'd get one of those fake mountains where it would go through the mountain, the little trees and stuff. I loved that. There's so many model train videos, by the way, on YouTube. Just search best model train set ever, and you'll see some crazy setups. It's cool to watch.
Well, she used to be the big spender.
Yeah, but he kind of cut that off a little bit.
So this wasn't like a joint agreement thing?
It was more of like a financial coming out party 2 years ago when we found out all of the student debt that she had.
You were already married?
No, we got married 2 weeks ago.
Dating.
So he did know about it though. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you know about it before the marriage, then it's your choice at that point to go through with the marriage. You already know at that point.
After I graduated with my master's degree, I had to start paying for it.
Masters. It's always the arts. The arts are just, they go in that a never-ending cycle of degree.
She never needed to go to school to begin with, to teach art in high school. Again, this is something I feel like, who is charging $100,000 to give you an arts degree to teach a high school. I don't get it. Like, I could see if you're an art curator for a museum and you're restoring priceless pieces of art, or you're a historian who's like, uncovering something. Like, I could see some applications for that, but not high school. Not when kids are going into class half stoned. They don't even want to be there. They're just kind of zoning out the entire time. They're just thinking of college, what they're doing on the weekend. That's it.
I wanted to travel, so I found a job traveling with an art gallery on a cruise ship. And then, yeah, I know. I had a crazy life.
That actually sounds pretty cool.
It was a sales job. I'm not a salesperson. Yeah, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. There's a lot of resentment build up in that. Yeah, she's not a salesman, because if she were, she'd be making more money.
What would we rate ourselves as a couple, 0 to 10?
So financial situation is we're living pretty cheaply right now. I mean, after I saw all this debt kind of come into the light, I realized that, okay, we've got a
years
lot
ago.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little later, but
Seems like they had built up a lot of resentment between each other. Like, he's upset at the situation, you could tell. She's just not having it. She's just like, I've avoided it for a while. I don't want to think about it. It's not entirely my problem anymore. That's the way it seems. It's like she's kind of putting this on other people based on what she said about her parents kind of dealing with it too. Now it's also his responsibility.
These are all individual federal student loans?
No.
they're all from Sally
unfortunately.
Mae.
We had to split payments between my father and I. So I pay a portion and he pays a portion.
Why does your dad pay?
Because they're the
They're
ones
under
that took it out
they're
to begin with.
co-signed under him.
Okay, so the reason why her dad's paying this is because he signed off on the loan. She can't afford it, so he has to pay for it. Otherwise, it's going to impact his credit score. It's going to impact him. So he's probably just making payments so that it doesn't negatively affect his financial situation.
4 of the loans are at 4%, but the other 4 are variable interest rates, and they're probably close to like 13.5, almost 14% right now. I'm like, that is absolute death. That's garbage, trash, insane asylum.
How does this get worse? 13% interest, variable interest rate loans that she's taking out to make $44,000 a year. That is no wonder he's upset. Surprised your dad put his own finances on the line to thumbs up this and say, yeah, this is a good decision. It's not.
A Chase card, $6,009 is what's owed on it now. It was $7,340. We made a $3,235 minimum payment. But then we went and purchased $1,833.30 with fees charged of $70.63.
How does this guy get in charge of the finances and then rack up more debt on a credit card while paying fees on top of that? Most likely for not making the payment on time or carrying a higher balance than he should be. It makes no sense. He needs someone to manage the finances that he manages.
What I was doing, I was paying off the card every single month and the interest savings balance so I could take the remaining cash and then use that for my financial investment portfolio.
All right, so he is trying to arbitrage some of this. So he's saying, okay, the loans that are at 2%, I can make 8% in the market. So let me just invest the money in the market, make 8%, pay off the 2% later, make a profit in between. I would just, at this point, just start paying down the loans.
Cupcakes. Some taquitos.
Cupcakes was part of the wedding.
And
Yeah.
Pandora and to Levy. Yeah, you guys still chose to spend that money.
You're eating out too much. Again, that's another problem. Eat at home. They can't afford to do anything. If they're serious about getting rid of this debt, all they have to do is just don't have fun for like 10 years. That's it. And then they have a chance. Just go home, work, go home, work. 10 years. And maybe they have a small chance at being okay after all this.
All right, go
So
ahead again.
here's my student loans. My dad just is late on a payment because mine are automatically taken out.
There's there's 3 payments past due.
Yeah, that's on him.
Again, anytime you have a co-signer on something, it affects both of you jointly. So if one person doesn't step up to the plate, they miss a payment, it affects the other person, and vice versa. That's why you gotta be so careful about who you co-sign with and actually trusting the person that the bills are gonna get paid. Otherwise, you're both screwed.
How do you feel that your dad is paying for this? Because this,
I don't like it, but I
would
know
feel
that
so
I
bad.
can't afford it because I know I can't pay $2,000 a month.
it's about 16. Yeah,
Yeah,
1,600,
so-
which is wild.
I feel bad, but I don't know what else I can do.
You know what? I think she just gotta get another job. Right? What other option does she have? She can't afford it making $40,000 a year. Flat out. Again, the math just doesn't math on that one. Her only other option, find a higher paying job. Do anything else that pays more money. Even if it's not in the field that she studied in, Get a job that's making $60,000 to $80,000 a year. Work your way up that. Work so hard on that one. Take any overtime shifts. Get a side hustle. Get another job on top of that. That's what she needs to do. Otherwise, she's relying on her parents to pay it off.
What I am not going to do is sit here and be like, wow, you did this a decade ago? You're so stupid. No, we're going to talk about where we are today, what we're doing now, and what we can do in the future.
That's what I would do. I would do that.
Why did you buy the Starbucks 20 years ago? That was $1.50. Do you realize how much that would be if you just bought Apple stock back then?
I would do that, totally.
While gas prices were starting to rise, it actually makes sense to purchase along the way as it hikes up. Otherwise, you're waiting for the price to actually be at a higher point, and then you end up paying more. So I'm very anal about that.
So you're essentially betting the oil market.
This guy's a bit of a degenerate. Just like, he's gambling on the oil market. He's trying to arbitrage the difference between student loans. Like, listen, I respect the hustle. It's risky, okay? It's a bit risky, but you know what? He's doing his best.
How much is in the private business?
$46,000 or $48,000.
Is this the train, the choo-choo?
Yeah.
But you don't know how much money it makes, but you invested in it?
I don't know how much money it makes per se, but I see a lot of the monthly statements on all of our revenues.
See, again, he's throwing money at things that he's hoping is going to hit. And this seems like one of those where it's, he might know the business better than me, but I wouldn't invest in something unless you know when you're going to get paid back. He should say, I put X amount in. This is the return every year. I'm going to get paid back in 3 years. I think the business is going to be worth X amount in 10. Here's our exit plan, how I'm going to get all my money back. As of right now, he's just kind of making shots in the dark.
But you only have like 5,000 in the general stock market. Like it was like, right? Something around 5.
It's just under 3,000 right now, and where the market's going right now, I'm working with my financial advisor, and I'm going to determine when I'm going to start throwing lump sums into my IRA.
Now. Is the answer.
Yeah, he should be taking that money that he loaned, the 50 grand, that should be his nest egg. He should be maxing out his Roth IRA every year, using some of that maybe to fund it. That's his emergency fund, that's some of his investments. That should be there, not earning 10% against debt that could be worth nothing if the company goes under.
I don't spend money unless he approves it. So
Let's see. Okay, is this healthy? Do you like this?
no, I don't.
It sounds like she's told everybody herself she's not good with finances. She's not good with spending it. It seems reasonable that she needs someone who's overseeing things to make sure that they have a budget. Maybe what he should do is say, hey, you have a budget of $200 a month. You could spend that money, that's yours. The rest of it is allocated towards all of these other things that we're paying down, and that's it. Then she spends freely, but it's within a set amount.
What's your rent?
Rent is $10.95.
Not bad. Jeez, what is this?
It is a tiny little first floor of a stone building in Old Town.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a
I was
tiny
gonna say
little...
that is some cheap rent.
Good. They need the cheap rent. So far, that's the only thing here that I really like, is that they're only paying $1,000 a month in rent. They should keep that place as long as they possibly can, because they could use that to save a ton of money.
Gas. How much are we spending on average across the household?
Yeah, so I'd say for you, it's about $200 a month. For me, it's probably closer to, at most, $100 if I'm not doing track days.
I'm not doing track days. Track days are very expensive. The insurance on track days, the wear and tear on the car on track days, the gasoline on track days. Listen, I get it. These aren't his debts. It's just tough to splurge on track days knowing there's a $100,000 cloud just hanging over you.
I recommend putting in the budget maybe some marriage counseling. There's not going to be a lot of fun spending. There's not going to be, there's sacrifices that are being taken. We're working our off. And we're getting raises along the way. Hopefully we can take more distributions from the business as well, and we can pay this off early. Maybe it goes from 2.5 years to 2 years.
That's the thing with this, though. It's actually not terrible if it's just going to take 2.5 years. But what's still crazy is that it's 2.5 years of two people working full-time to be able to pay off the debt that one person accumulated to go to art school, to teach high school, to make 40 grand a year. It's a shame, but you know what? People are in way worse positions that are going to take over a decade. So if they could get this done in 2.5 years, get through it, I think they're going to be that much stronger as a couple.
I had high interest Sallie Mae debt as well. Not this much, but I had high interest Sallie Mae debt. But I also had car debt, and I had family debt, and I had debt, and just credit card debts. I had much worse credit card debt than this. I sacrificed putting the vast majority of my income towards it, and I see what it's like on the other side, and it's totally worth it.
See, I would like to hear more stories from Caleb about this. We don't really know too much about his backstory, his own personal experiences dealing with personal finance. He very much makes it about the other person, as he should, but I think him sharing his own personal anecdotes would make it that much more interesting to watch and get a sense of who he is as a person.
I mean, the biggest place for me is just working on, having more effective communication with, with her, so that way we can really be on the same page, and not just a page that, hey, this is what we're going to do. It's us communicating and talking with each other so we can come up with the plan that works for both of us.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer, and I think as long as they could be on the same page and stick with it, just like being on a diet or doing anything else as a couple, I think if they could get through this, they'll do quite well.
Don't feel guilt. Don't bring the guilt into this conversation. It's not a your fault type situation. Now we're working together as a team to make sure the marriage and our future is in an amazing place eventually. So this isn't a what happened in the past type situation. Who brought what into the marriage? This is we're awesome and we're going to kill it now.
Okay.
I'd love to hear more relationship advice from Caleb. I would love if he just brings couples on who just get in financial disagreements. Instead of going over the budgets like this, deal with the more emotional aspect of it. I don't see anyone really doing that. I would love to see something like that. Just him as a relationship counselor.
Any final thoughts?
Learn math and percentages. It's very important, and figure out how to use a credit card. It's extremely important.
Just don't spend money you don't have. That's another one. Don't spend money you don't have and save at least 20% of your paycheck every single month. If you could just follow that, you're going to be way ahead of most people. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget that you could get some free stocks worth all the way up to a few $1,000s when you make a deposit using a paid affiliate link down below in the description. It's super easy to do. It's going to take you like 10 minutes, and you get some free stocks in exchange for doing that. Again, the link is down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.